Welcome. Hi, my name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free Show, and I am so excited to have you here today. It's going to be a fun day. We're using a new format. So, for most of the shows, I'm going to be somewhat solo, but I do depend on you calling in. But I want this to be an opportunity. I want the Breaking Free Show to be exactly that. And we've had wonderful guests, and we will continue to have wonderful guests from here out. But from time to time, we'll have guests. But more often, it's just going to be you and me talking. And I would love for you to call in, ask advice, give advice, ask a question, tell me something, comment, anything you want, because we would love to have you do that. And it's always been what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to have like a fireside chat. I always wanted to be like an Oprah. I always wanted it to be something that we just hung out together, and that's what we're going to do today. So I want to welcome Amnan. Hello.
Hello, and I can tell everybody she is excited.
I am excited. How do you know?
Oh, yeah, check.
Oh, I got all this stuff too. I've got my iPad sitting here with some things to share. I got my computer sitting here with some other things to share. I got a whole bunch of stack of quotes that I think are great to share. So I've got a lot of things that I want to like open up to and talk about. And the guests we have are great. And I love them, and they have taught me a bunch. But I really want us to just sit back, chill out, and explore things together. Like just really chat as if we're around the kitchen table. And you might think that's kind of maybe a little strange because it could be hundreds and thousands of you out there listening. However, we can do it. Trust me. So, any point in time during the show that you want to call in, you can do so at 919-518-9773, or you can Skype in at computers, that's plural, the number 2, K voice, anytime from anywhere in the world. And you're more than welcome to go to our chat, which is to the right of the video, and put your name in there. You can put a nickname if you want and ask a question, talk to who's ever in there. It's great. I'm not, can you put up that first picture?
Before all that, there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
question. Are those new
Oh,
glasses?
oh, yes, they. Oh, yes, they are. They're blue. I don't know. Can you tell they're blue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're blue. My daughter says, "Mom, they are. They do look blue, but they are also black." So yes, they're blue black. Yes, now I can see a little bit better, but I'm still gonna go like this. So forgive me, because from time to time, I can't see everything anyway. Okay, so here is your license, my license to speak your mind. I'm giving this to you. So this license entitles you to say what you think anytime without fear of judgment or criticism. Open yourself up and the world will open up with you. So this to me, I am giving you a license on this Breaking Free show to for all of us, you, me, to break free. Talk about whatever you want. Talk about the news. Talk about your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your children, yourself, anything you want. This is a license, and we're going to always show this. This is a license to break free. And you got it right here. What do you think?
I think. How much does it cost?
It's free. It's breaking free. It's like everything else.
Oh, I'll take one. I'll
Okay.
take two.
Right? Okay, good. So, anyway, we're going to, got some lovely things to share. So, the first thing I want to share is the story of Bob Dylan. Can you put the next picture up? I love this. Okay, so Bob Dylan. So, I'm riding in the car the other day with my husband. Actually, it might have been 2 days ago. And I hear them on NPR saying, things are a changing. Bob Dylan is on the cover of AARP. Now, how cool is that? Does that mean anything to you at all?
I mean, the. No, it doesn't.
Nothing.
No.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think what's interesting.
things are changing.
Things
I mean,
are
everybody's
changing.
getting older.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, and to see Bob Dylan on the cover of AARP says, Marilyn, oh, maybe one day you'll be on the cover of AARP. They have a huge audience, and their audience is his audience. It's who they were. And the interesting thing that I think is really also very interesting, well, he's got a new album, and he's going to be singing oldies like Frank Sinatra songs, and obviously putting his spin on it, right? So the new, well, I don't know the new, but the editor of AARP was the editor of Rolling Stone magazine.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Things are changing, and we want to accept those changes. When I first heard this, I was going, "Oh my God, he's on the cover." What's? But it's accepting, and it's using the, it's using what he can use. You know, it's a great audience. So I think it's really kind of fun, and I'm glad he's doing it.
I
You
mean,
know
when I see stuff like this,
what?
easy ways to live longer. Come on.
Oh, on the cover, you
Yeah.
mean? Well, I mean,
Come on.
there are easy ways to live longer. What are 8 easy ways to live longer? What's one for you? What's one way you can live longer?
Take it one a day at a time.
Perfect.
There's no plan. There is a plan. We don't know it.
Yeah, but you can do your best.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I think, power of prayer. I mean, you can do your best. So I think,
True.
you know, you
True.
you don't know what you don't know, but you know that if you eat better, if you do something, you can't control it, but you got a better shot.
I don't know. Whenever somebody's talking about it, you go back to George Burns, smoking and drinking and everything. Well,
True. Years ago, I went to see this physicist, Stephen Hawkins. Stephen
yeah,
Hawkins, David Hawkins, which is
Steve.
he wrote the book called Power versus
I don't know.
Force.
He's the quadriplegic.
No, no, no. Then it's
Oh.
the other one.
Oh, so
So it's the other one. And he said on the stage, he was talking about the energy fields. And he said it's the totality of the energy field. It's not one thing, but it's everything you do goes into how well or how healthy you're going to be. So for instance, if you smoke cigarettes, but you eat very healthy and you live somewhat of a stress-free life and you do this well and you may not die of cancer. But if you smoke cigarettes and you drink diet soda and you eat a lot of fried food, then you could die. So it's the total of the energy fields, not just one of the things that you do.
and it takes a real smart person to come up with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's really smart. I think that was brilliant. Yeah, and Chris is saying, remember the guest we had on Martin Strell who drank? He did. He drank a
Yeah.
whole, what was it? A whole bottle of wine or
Wine.
something himself
Yep.
every day, or multiple bottles of wine himself every day.
Yep.
And he swam like these enormous lakes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm going to remind you about your license to call in, to ask questions, share anything you want, ask something, ask for advice, anything that you want. If you're writing a book and you want some guidance, if you've got something going on, just call. I mean, there's so much we can accomplish when we share freely together. And this is the opportunity during this show to do just that we can be free and talk about things. And, I want my eyes to open up and I want yours to open up as well. So, the next slide is this picture of Hollywood. So I thought this was kind of interesting. So, Hollywood is all about, or what we thought is all about, actors and actresses and the glam and all the stars and all that stuff, right? But there's a shift in Hollywood now to technology. Oh, we got a caller. Is that a,
Come on.
is that,
Yeah.
is what? Is that something?
Hey,
Okay.
Gary.
Are you on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll call you later then.
All right.
All right. Sorry, Gare. Anyway, so you would think that it was all just the stars, but now it's going to a lot of technology. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Amnon. How are you guys doing? It's
Good.
Chris.
Hi.
Hey, Chris. What's up?
Yeah, so, hey, I wanted to call in with a question. We had my family in town this weekend, and we were talking about recent movies that we've seen. And my parents said that they had seen the movie Wild, featuring Reese Witherspoon, where, she's made a lot of mistakes in her life, and she decides that she's going to hike the Pacific Coast Trail to find herself. And so it's an epic movie, getting a lot of, I think, good reviews. And my parents who usually agree on movies walked away with two very different opinions. My dad really liked it. My mom was feeling very different. She said, I don't understand why people have to do things like this to find themselves. She was saying, she feels very grounded in knowing who she is, always felt that groundedness, and, just never felt pulled to go on a pilgrimage or something epic to discover who she is. She just knows. So
Right.
I was kind of thinking about this a little more and wondering what makes the difference between the person who is the searcher and the seeker and feels the draw to do something significant like that
That's a
versus
good
the person
question.
who just feels totally grounded and never questions that.
Well, first of all, I think that's a great question. So thanks for bringing that in.
Sure.
First of all, sometimes we make things wrong. So we make discovering ourselves as maybe as something wrong that we don't already like what we have. But what I want to say is, even for somebody who's grounded, there's more to discover. I mean, there's more of life to see, there's more adventure, there's more challenges and opportunities. It's not because we don't like where we are. It's just, and it doesn't mean that we're going to, that we have to be more or bigger or better. It just means that there's more interesting things to see. And you can stay perfectly happy where you are. I just think that it doesn't have to be wrong. Doesn't have to be made wrong to discover more of who we are or to see how we are in different, in lieu of or in light of different situations. I mean, we certainly, there's more of us in different scenarios that we get to discover. Doesn't mean we can't live without them. It doesn't mean that I could be very happy not packing again. I'm not crazy about packing up and doing things. I'm very happy just exploring here in North Carolina or Raleigh or Cary. But at the same time, I see myself doing things that I would know could do or would do if I went somewhere else. Doesn't mean I have to go. It just means that if I do go, I have an opportunity to see something else. What do you think?
I think it's also when you put yourself into the wild, for example, you also test your mettle, you test your survival instincts, you test parts of you that don't normally get tested. So then you learn more about yourself because you put yourself in unusual circumstances and really figured out, okay, these are my limits, or wow, I thought this was my limit, but actually I can go a whole lot further when it absolutely has to.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I agree with your mom. She could be extremely comfortable and happy where she is. That's nothing. Doesn't it? And if you explore, it doesn't mean you're not happy where you are.
Right.
It just means that there's. I mean, why? Listen, if I like who I am, why wouldn't I want more of that? Right? If I like who I am and I'm grounded and I'm happy with who I am and what I do, why wouldn't I want more? Expand that.
Yeah, it was a good conversation that we had, so I thought I would bring it to the show and see what everybody else was thinking about that. Have you ever done anything significant like that, like gone on a vision quest or?
Yeah, I mean, several years ago, I think one of the things that I started to do when I was on this listening journey, practice, I knew that I had a hard time asking for directions. That I could go ask for directions, but that I had a hard time listening to them. Because I would start getting nervous about where I was headed to. I would start pre-thinking I'm going to miss my turn and I'm going to get lost and I won't know where I am and all those things. So I actually went to California on a business trip and I purposely took myself somewhere that I would have to ask directions. and I went into a gas station, which also always scared me.
Mm.
I'm not laughing, but it's true. I went into a gas station because I knew back then men had a tendency of intimidating me when I would ask a question, and they would go through it really quick. And if you're somewhere where you don't know where you are, well, go down there when you see on Sally Street, but how do I know where Sally Street is? And who had a GPS, right?
Mhm.
So I purposely went in and I made sure of, excuse me, can you repeat that again? And I wrote it down and I made sure to ask questions and I came away with a way of going and I got where I had to go. And that was huge, huge lesson for me. Huge break free
Mhm.
lesson for me.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yep. So definitely. I mean, and so you look at those things, and that's a good question, Chris. So you look at those things and you say, there was nothing wrong with me. I just wanted to be able to ask directions. That's all.
Mhm.
What about you?
But you were also brave enough to do it, to put yourself and take the steps to put yourself in a situation where you knew you were going to have to do that. Not everybody's brave enough to do that.
Well, no, probably not. But that's what breaking free is all about.
Oh, I
That's
agree.
that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. That what we're doing with the show now is that we're taking
Mhm.
it to a level where it's just going to be like just us, which is where I want to take it. I want to take it to
Mhm.
this level so that anybody can call in. It's you don't need to break through to break free.
Exactly.
Right? So listen, so
Exactly. Yeah.
Susiani says, I think the key to living longer is to do what you enjoy and enjoy what you do. So I want
Mhm.
to, before we go on, I want to make a point of thank you for that, Susiani, because that's exactly right. I mean, when you're more spirited, um, it's hard for your immune system to be down, that's for sure. So what about you, Chris? Have you had any kind of similar situations where you tested yourself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm very much thinking about the times that I've done that on my own, picking a time that I was um, knowing that I was uncomfortable about something and then making myself do it. Like um, in my adult years, I've had to travel a lot, and I never, never, never wanted to go and eat at a restaurant by myself.
Uh,
Never wanted to do those things by myself. And finally, I was like, wait a second, I cannot hole up in the hotel room and order room service for a week.
right.
I actually had to get out there and just do it. And then once I did it, it was fine. I thought people would stare at me and they would be, why is you over there by yourself? But people don't care. And it took me just a couple times for me to put myself in that situation and look around and just realize it was fine. It was
Yeah.
fine. And all the worry was in my mind, and I made it into this big deal when in fact it
Right.
really isn't. And there are more people than just yourself eating by yourself if you just look around.
Yeah, I mean, when I was separated, and there were times that my children would be with their dad, or I didn't have anybody to be with, I would take myself to sushi restaurants a lot because I could
Mhm.
eat at the sushi bar. It was safe. I could go out, and there was always somebody else, there, the sushi chef or whoever, and you could talk to, and it was a
Mhm.
very,
The kosher sushi
of,
bar.
of course. It was a very pleasant, safe environment, and I could do that a lot. So you want to find the things that help you, give you grow your baseline, I guess I want to say. Grow that comfort.
Mhm.
What were you going to say on that?
The place that you feel like you fit in, that the surrounding fit
Yeah, that still grow you,
you. Yeah,
but are still breaking free.
right.
Mhm.
What about you, Amnon? What's
Uh,
your
I,
thing?
I don't know.
Do you have one? You don't, you must have one memory or one thing that wasn't your bag, but you did it anyway, and you know, You could say you did it. Anything?
Jumping from an airplane, from a good airplane.
Now that's something I've always honestly I wanted to do that in college, and my father, oh my God, he's rest in peace. My father was not a camper, not a proponent of me jumping out of a plane. Today I don't think I would. See, today I would. I don't know if I would do it, but back in college it was fitting, and I would have wished I had done it. Would have wished it, but now I do other things. But listen, that was a good question. I appreciate you bringing it up. You have
No
another one?
problem.
You have another one?
Well, maybe.
All right, hold the thought for a second. So you see
Sure.
how Chris, just everybody out there, you see how Chris and I are talking? Please call in. I'm very friendly. I'm friendly. I'm warm.
He doesn't bite.
Huh? No, I
So you
don't
don't
bite.
bite.
And I want so much for people to call in and just talk. That's all. I want us all just to talk. Can you imagine if we just talked, what would happen with anger, conflict, I don't know, the world? Just talk. I don't have to agree with Chris. She can have her own opinion. I'm not, hasn't even shared an opinion. But just talk. That's all. So 919-518-9773, or you can Skype in with us. We won't see you, but we'd love to hear you. Computers, that's plural, 2K voice. Okay, what was your next one, Chris?
Okay, so my next question is spanking.
Banking?
Spanking children as
thanking.
punishment.
Say that again.
Spanking.
Oh,
spanking
spanking.
children.
Oh.
Spanking.
Oh.
Yes. So you know that I've had my folks in town, and we've also had our in-laws,
Right.
my in-laws,
Right.
in town, and have very good relationships with both sets
Right.
of parents, and really appreciate where they come from and the experience that they bring. And so we often compare notes when it comes to parenting. Like, we even ask them, how do you think we're doing? What would you do differently? And so the issue of spanking came up because there was some behaviors that my parents very clearly felt were not okay when they observed them from the kids this weekend. And so we had a real, not for the first time, we've talked often about spanking.
Right.
And my husband and I feel very differently about spanking children and whether or not it's appropriate.
Your husband and you feel differently, you said?
We do. We
Okay.
do. And this is breaking free in terms of how firmly we feel that spanking is not the way that we want to go with our kids.
So I misunderstood. So you and your husband agree. You just feel differently than the parents feel. Than the
Yes,
grandparents.
there's like intergenerational differences in how much previous generations have appreciated and used spanking and experienced spanking as children. So it was it was a good conversation. There were no fingers being pointed, but we spent a lot of time talking about it and how my husband and I feel about it, and also how my parents feel about it, and my in-laws feel about it too. And it's so interesting how the previous generations, older generations, really, that I'm kind of painting a brushstroke, but many of the folks that I've talked to feel very firmly that spanking has a place in raising children and disciplining children.
It has a place, you said?
Yes, for a lot of the people that I've talked to of that generation, it was common, and they felt that they brought that to raising myself, my husband. I was spanked, my husband was spanked. And it's a very interesting thing to talk about as a child, a grown woman who had been spanked, and then as a parent who doesn't want to bring that into her home and into the culture of her family, and nor does my husband. So just wanted to bring it to you and Amnon and everybody out there, like, what do y'all think? Because it was a hot topic this weekend.
Amnon, you had an opinion. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I was lucky enough to realize, my dad used to spank us, and I thanked him for it
Oh, you did.
because I feel like him doing it and putting me in my place made me a better person.
And you couldn't gotten that any other way?
I don't know. There's no way
Did,
of telling.
did you
But
spank your daughter?
On a few occasions when she was young. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I
And I really think that a lot of the problems we have in schools and with kids today is because they don't get there. There are no consequences.
Mhm. You know, Chris, it's a good question. I might have been tapped. My brother was not tapped. He was hit more. I remember spanking my daughter once or twice. One of them, both of them, I don't know.
Switch.
I wouldn't do it now.
No.
I would not.
You
I
wouldn't
mean,
do it now?
no, I would
using
not.
a switch.
What do you mean a switch?
You don't even know what a switch is.
No, what's a switch?
It's like a green.
Stick.
What, Chris?
Like a what is it?
It's
Oh, it's like, well, where I come from, it's like a branch
it's a
from a tree.
thin
Oh no.
branch, green, and I remember Kathy's mom used to send Hannah to the yard to find one, come in with it
To
so
who?
to spank her.
To
Oh,
spank
when she
Hannah?
did- Yep. Oh, she
Okay.
did it too.
Oh,
And
she did it?
She had all the permission.
Oh, she did.
Yep.
No, my father used to use a strap.
Well, now that's.
But so my
no.
point is how it's no different than war. I mean, everything is on a certain level, right? When do you stop? At what point do you stop?
Well,
If you
that's what
give
ma-
yourself
Right.
permission to spank, when do you do something else? I mean, I don't know why we can't just reprimand consequences, whatever it is, without putting pain there, physical pain.
Well,
I don't
because
see
pain
that.
is the only thing that I mean you cannot reason with a kid. You can't. I mean,
What's
it
the
just-
so what's the message?
There is no message. I don't think the only message that I got from when my father spanked me. Back then, I hated it and I hated him. But as you grow older, so you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That was. I mean, I deserved it. And the fact that I didn't turn bad, I didn't turn violent.
Do you have any idea what you might have been, or not forgetting about violence? What about just fear, or something else that you don't
Fear.
know that you are carrying around because you were smacked?
I don't think I'm carrying anything because of.
Do you know?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I really don't think, and that's what.
I would say you are. I would. That's just my opinion. I think if somebody's physically,
Why then why would I turn and out of nowhere just tell him thank you? I think you made me a better person.
I don't know.
And I
don't know,
really
but-
felt it. I mean, and I feel lucky that I had a chance to tell him that.
Why do you think that was what? Why did you thank him for that?
Because I was thinking about things in the world and Hannah growing and seeing the kids in school and hearing about bullying. And I mean, we never had such thing as bullying. But if a kid would bully somebody, their parents will get him really good. So you have to. I mean, look at it this way. Saudi Arabia, you know about their laws and stuff.
About bullying?
No, you
Oh.
steal.
Oh yeah.
What they do? Cut your hand off.
Yeah, but
Now people don't steal.
look what else
Why
they.
do- why
but,
do-
but look where the baseline is.
But wait a
Look
second.
at them.
Mhm.
Why do we put people in jails? Is it so they'll enjoy themselves?
Yeah, but
Not everybody that goes to jail is in jail because they are danger to society. A lot of them go to jail as a punishment. Well, if
okay,
it's a
so
punishment,
send them to their room.
in today's world, go to your room means go to your room and you have TV and
Not
you have a smartphone.
necessarily.
You see?
Yeah, but
That's-
that's not necessarily. But I don't know. Let me, punch you or let me smack you.
Well, there's smack. I mean,
why can't our
te-
message? Why can't our message be without that?
Because it is. Maybe it's impossible. I don't know.
How have we even tried? How much have we
I think
tried?
a lot of people tried, and
Oh, I
look
don't
what
think
we ended
so.
up with.
I don't think so. We've never tried. We war with war. I mean, I can't believe when people talk, we're going to have peace. How?
You can't.
You can't. You why?
Can't.
We can't.
Why?
Not this way.
No, that's the naive
Not
side
this
of
way.
you.
Well, okay. Let me be
You
naive.
you can't say peace, 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 and the other side is bombing you. What
You know what?
do?
I
When do
get
you
that,
stop?
but what are they
Oh,
bombing
peace.
for? What are they bombing for? To control?
It
to
doesn't
what?
matter why, but
I just
they
don't
will.
see it.
They
I
will.
think that we. Well, then we're not listening.
You're
Mhm,
trying.
right.
We're not listening.
Well, then you try.
What is it? There's something. Look, when I mediated,
Mhm.
we would go into a case, right?
Now,
and the
wait a
court
second.
and the
Hold
judge
it.
would say,
Don't compare.
"Why?"
You have two adults.
No, but I went in with awful things, with somebody laying a noose around somebody. I mean,
I
terrible things.
understand.
But it was never that. It was always something else. It's not always what somebody asked for. You know, it was always something else. It was an apology, it was a thank you, it was an acknowledgement, it was an awareness, it was something, a flight of life. It was never just I want money, or I want land, or you're on my land. It wasn't that. It was always something else. It was human nature
Mhm.
things. It was not those other things.
It makes no. In my opinion, it doesn't make what. It
Well,
doesn't
you
make
haven't
difference
seen a difference yet.
No. It doesn't make difference what the reason was.
It matters. It does
I don't
matter
think
because
so.
because we're not taking it deep enough. We're only feeding what we think we see. We're not
Mhm.
looking beneath what we think we
And
see.
it is
Exactly.
and I think it's
Okay, so
wishful
wait for my
thinking.
book to come out. So okay, so this I am writing, well, gonna be writing books, several books. And
That's
so
great.
I'm I was gonna talk about this at the end. And okay, so everybody knows, if you've watched me before, I don't self-promote much. I don't come on here and say, use me as a coach, or I'm a great business coach, I'm a great life. I don't do that on this show. This is not the platform for me to self-promote. I don't do that. The value in this show is in who we've had on as guests, the things we talk about, all of those things, the quotes we might bring up, the lessons learned, whatever. But I am going to write a series of books, and it's going to be all different scenarios about conflict. So if you have some kind of conflict in your life, you've had it, you see it, something that you want to write a story about in your own personal words, we'll edit them, then I want you to send them to me. Contact me at Marilyn at reenchantplanetearth.com, above my head. And we're going to look at these stories, and we're going to share stories of conflict, because I believe that there's conflict between brother and sister, mother and daughter, twins. I mean, there's conflict everywhere. We're going to look at any story. I don't care if it hasn't even been resolved. We're going to look at these stories and say, okay, let's learn from these stories. Instead of pushing them under the rug, let's take them and let's learn from them how to create peace. And peace is not agreement. Peace is not, I agree with you. Peace is, I agree you have a right to your opinion. That's peace. Peace is, you agree that I have a right. Now, what are we going to do about it? How do we share this place, this land we live in? Okay, well, if you have a story that you want to share, I got a great title. It's powerful. It's going to be like chicken soup for the soul. There's going to be millions of them.
That's great.
It
These
is great.
All they are stories,
Of
and everything in the book is what you would like it to be. It's
no,
great.
these are
It's
real
a book.
stories.
I understand,
Mhm.
but it's something that doesn't have any impact on real life.
Why not?
It does not.
If you look at if Chris or Joe Schmo writes a story about how they made up after years of something with
Right.
somebody because they did this thing, are you going to tell
Right.
me it's not going to impact somebody's life?
Oh no, I didn't say it will not impact anybody. I'd say it's not going to impact the way that humans
Oh,
are
wait and
behaving.
see. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Okay, so I am a La La Land person. I'm in La La Land. I believe.
You know what? You are.
Okay, but it takes a La La
And
Land
it's-
person.
And it's
It
easy.
does.
Okay, so it takes a La La Land person
Yeah.
to believe.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that if given a table, given a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, given some kind of neutral spot, given some kind of kind word, we can make peace. I
Mhm.
believe that. And I will,
All right.
and I believe it from the bottom of my heart that I see people estranged from each other, right? Mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, sisters and sisters. I believe that there are enough stories out there where people made up,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
right,
Oh,
Chris?
I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to show those stories, and we're going to see they're going to be a step one, step two. Look what they did. Look at how they made up. Is this something you can try? Try it.
Right.
What's it worth to you? That's what I say.
All right.
All right, listen. Now I can go on and on and on like this. Okay, but Suziani has
Yeah.
some wonderful points on here that I want to read, unless she wants to call in and share herself. So Suziani's in the chat. If you would like to call in at 919-518-9773 and share some of these stories you're sharing, we'd love to have you. Or
Come on,
you can,
Sue.
what'd you say?
I said, come on, Sue.
Come
Join us.
on. Or you can do Skype. What's she saying? Let me see. Is she gonna do it or not? Okay, so oh no.
She said, my mom brought us up to turn the other cheek, walk away, or kill them with kindness. Although I never understood you can catch more flies with honey or vinegar. Who the hell wants to catch flies? She said she's not calling in.
She said she's not? Okay.
No,
So
huh?
this thing about kill them with kindness. You know, it's interesting
Mhm.
because I think if we use it for good, then then the reward is good. It's not about pushing it under the rug. It's about being kind. Because with honey you get a lot more, you get something with honey. And then you can deal with something. It's not
Mhm.
about not handling it. It is about handling it. It's just about handling it with love as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to aggression, which I really feel
Susie
strongly
Annie.
about.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Susie Annie just wrote that she has one that she lives by. It's always being a better person.
Yes, I think that's very true. And then what does she say here? Up until, let me see. She says, up until last year, I would not go bike riding by myself, would not go down and sit by the canal by myself. Now I love venturing out by myself. And the bonus is you meet a lot more people when you are alone than if you are with another person. I made a lot of friends last year out on the bike trail, on the river and the canal. I am so looking forward to spring and my adventure. Okay, she says what a switch is. And I'm curious. She said her dad used his belt. I'm curious that what made the difference, Suziani, for you in venturing out to the, to sit there, to go out by yourself. What was the difference? She said, I never spanked my child. Her boys. I did, however, have to kick one once. He was trying to get out of going to school by crawling on the floor, using only his hand, saying he was paralyzed. So I kicked him in the leg. He went from saying, I can't feel my legs, to yelling, I cannot believe you kicked me, Mom. Well,
It's classic.
yeah. I mean, there are things that sometimes you have a hard time controlling, but I don't think that you match, to get to peace. It's not war, and war does not equal peace. That's what I think. So, Chris, any other questions?
Yeah, well, I think I monopolized the show quite enough.
That's good. We appreciate you calling in, and I want to welcome
No problem.
anybody out there to call in and chat with me, ask questions. If you got a great quote, oh my God, I love to dissect quotes. So if you've got a good quote, let me know. If you've got a story to share or some kind of personal triumph that we all can triumph with you, I love that too, because the more triumphs you have, the more triumphs I'm going to have, because I thrive on other people's triumphs. Do that, please. So, Chris, thanks for calling in. We love you. Okay. So, before Chris called in, I was saying about Hollywood. And so that was interesting to me because I never thought about it. And so it's not a big deal. It's just, I didn't think about it. It makes sense that the more phenomenal technology goes with movies and things, the more Hollywood is becoming the stars or the techies. So that was kind of interesting and cool. Not a big deal, just something fun. And then, okay, what's the next one? Oh yeah, these things are popping up. These help yourself beer places. So instead of, ordering the beer, it's like a wine thing. They're popping up where you just go and you get your own beer, and how cool is that?
I don't drink beer, so I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
I don't drink beer either. But anyway, I think for beer drinkers, it's a very cool thing. It's kind of one of those ideas that you go, duh, why didn't they do that already? Okay, can you get to the next one? This is cool. Okay, so every morning I get a message from Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God. And I thought this was very interesting. And some of them are cool and good. Some of them are just okay. This one was good. So, on this day of your life, dear friend, I believe God wants you to know that happiness and joy comes to you when it moves through you. There's no other pathway, and that's the miracle. You will have a number of opportunities in the days just ahead to be a vehicle of happiness and joy for another. Step right into it. Be the source of that. Let's see. As you bring others to a smile, so too will bring yourself. The method is foolproof. Okay, so this thought I think is really interesting about you are the pathway. That happiness and joy comes to you when it moves through you. It's very interesting. People are like looking for happiness, pursuit of happiness on the outside, looking for other things to make them happy. And this is very true. You are a portal for joy and happiness. And you have to be somebody who recognizes it, holds it, like embraces it, shares it, pushes it out, radiates it out for this thing to be flowing. And I thought that's a beautiful visual. What?
No,
Do you agree?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I love the whole idea of it has to move through you. You can't. So if you see something good out there and you don't embrace it as joy or happiness, it can't move through you. It will not go through you. How can it? It can only go through you if you see it as such. So otherwise you're the wall. You're the block to it flowing. So what does that mean? That means ultimately, the more people that embrace joy and happiness, don't keep pursuing it. See it, even the little bits. See it, enjoy it, and move it through you so that it spreads.
But you see again, I hate to be the poor
What?
water.
Don't hate. Go
I
ahead.
hate, I,
Don't
it's,
hate.
when the way that you're talking about it is, and you would see how everybody around you is turning happy because you're embracing it, and you
Right. Right.
don't be disappointed if none of them is going to be happy.
Can't control it.
Exactly.
Absolutely cannot control it. But you're just putting it out there into the
I understand,
ether.
but the thing is, that's how you feel happiness. The problem is that most people, unfortunately, when you see that you're trying to share something and other people are not happy, you become unhappy because you say, "Oh shoot."
Well, then you don't own it. If
You don't own any of these things.
No, if you don't own your own happiness, then it can't be taken away from somebody by somebody else.
True. We're talking here about an instance of something that
Right.
happens right then. That's
Right.
just a little piece.
Right. Right. But if I own my happiness, if
Then-
I see you smile,
Then it doesn't.
I
then-
own that. I let that come through me. Where it goes, how you handle it is up to you.
Right.
However, the more people that can appreciate
That's the thing.
the smile and
Yeah.
allow it to flow
You-
through,
My point is, you can control how you see
Yes.
it, but you can't control. The
no,
rest.
you can't.
That's
And if
the
you
problem.
try, then your happiness isn't real.
Right.
It
Right.
can only be real if it's from the heart.
But if the word that triggered this was share it.
Share it.
Share it with
Yeah,
who?
share it with the
Share it
world.
with who?
Just be it.
Okay.
That's all. Be it. If you are controlling it, it's not from the heart. Then it's in the head, and it isn't the happiness that we're talking about. It's not. It's control. There's no.
Okay.
It's not the same thing. But that was a very good. That was a very good comment on your part.
Oh.
No, I liked it. It was very good.
Did
Okay.
did I break free?
All right, well, you tell me. Oh, don't. Freedom. We talk about freedom steps, are movements. In a moment, I could be like I can experience freedom.
Right.
And then in another moment, maybe not. But the more moments that I can experience freedom, the more they start to the moments get bigger and bigger, and and maybe it's an hour this time, or it's a half a day, or it's Monday and then it's Wednesday. It's not, you know what I mean? It jumps around like that.
And yet, maybe not. Maybe they'll stay a moment, but a moment here and a moment there.
That's right.
And that's
Is
fine. There's nothing
multiple
wrong with that.
moments. Listen,
Absolutely.
we'll take anything we can get.
Don't get disappointed if it doesn't grow into
But
hours
it's going
and
to.
days.
But it's going to.
Hopefully.
It will. When you get on a path of coming from your heart and of breaking free, you will be happier. You'll be happy with less. There's no question. It can't be any other way.
Yeah, it's not more or less.
It's
a
just
matter
you don't need more. You be happy with less. You be content. Gratitude will come with the smallest of things. Not sometimes people don't recognize the small things and they're grateful for the big things. But when you're really coming from your heart, then everything is something to be grateful for. Right? All right, so we have some more time for anybody to call in, 919-518-9773, or Skype computers, that's plural, I want to say that, the number 2K voice, and then again you can enter into the chat. There's all kinds of things going on in there. So much I can't read them fast enough. But we'd love to hear from you and love to hear your comments about things, your remarks, your thoughts, what's going on in your life, what's happening. Just let us know. I'd like to hear about it. Okay, so the next picture, I hope the next one comes up pretty easily. Can you see it? Okay, so what I liked about this perfect work day is that it wasn't all about work. And I thought this was very cool, really a cool thing. So you wake up, you don't check your email. Makes perfect sense, right? You hear that all the time. You eat a good breakfast, high, healthy, you eat fats, you eat protein, that's a balance. You exercise before work whenever you can, that's a balance. You set a schedule to do the least desirable tasks first. Some people, because then you're going to get them done. Because if you wait till the end of the day sometimes, guess what? You put it off, you put it off, you put it off, and then you don't do it. Then that undesirable tasks goes into the next day. And then then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So the next thing is swing by and socialize with a colleague. So take a break. Go and play. Go visit, communicate, create a community at work. This is what people are doing now, or what feels good to them to get the most out of them. I think that when you do stuff like this, you might have less time to actually sit and work, but you'll get more accomplished in an hour than you will in 3 by just sitting there. Have a snack. That's always good, right? Have a good snack. Go outside for lunch with a coworker. Meditate. Do desk yoga, move around, breathe. Take a power nap when you can for a few minutes. Just kind of close your eyes when you can. Sometimes you can go to your car, sometimes you can't. These are not things that are etched in stone, but this is what makes a good day. Look at cute videos. Cute what? Cute, what'd you say? Eat cat videos? Anything. Wrap up work and leave at a reasonable time. Okay, here's the thing. Too many people try to dot every I and cross every T over and over and over again, and they're not satisfied with their work. And they go too much to the degree, and people don't even know it, pay attention to it, care, and you miss the point. So in your workday, you know, do what feels right to you, and you're going to get more accomplished. Go to happy hour and socialize with colleagues, and eat at least 3 hours. Oh, eat at least 3 hours before you go to bed. Dinner. Uh, record wins in. Record your wins in a diary. So, I love tooting horns. I think what is more valuable to you in your day than acknowledging your wins. We are very comfortable with acknowledging our losses. But I think we need to acknowledge our wins and acknowledge our lessons learned so that they don't become so prickly that we're afraid to venture to do something new or to try something that we have a lesson. Because if we acknowledge our lessons, if we're grateful for the lesson, then we will get past whatever it is that we don't know, and we'll do better at, you know, creating things for tooting, right? So toot your horn, everybody. Go out in the world and from your heart, toot your horn. It is not an ego thing when it comes from your heart. It's like, I've really worked at this. I've really tried. I've accomplished this. I am happy with myself. You know, here, learn from me. Learn with me. Let me learn from you. Let me hear what you're accomplishing. I think it makes a big difference. Have a routine that you do at the same time every day at night. And sleep, you know, sleep without putting your smartphones on. And get a full night's sleep. And between all of these fun things, guess what? You get to do. You get to work. And I guarantee. Look between the times.
There is no time to work.
I disagree.
Between looking at the schedule and...
How long do you think it takes to lift your leg at work to do a little stretching? How long?
No, you're right. No,
really, you're going to eat anyway, right? You might as well eat in a nice environment. You're going to eat anyway, so you might as well do all these things. It doesn't take long. You know, I guarantee if you kept a diary, anybody out here keep a diary of adding a few of these things, you would be surprised at how much time you'll have left and what you could do with your time.
Oh, I mean, I can do a lot with my time because I work for myself, but I can't see somebody working in an office doing any of these. Oh, well,
you can't see any of these things.
But most of these things.
If you got rid of
you watch cat videos and you lose your job.
You watch a few. No, not. But in balance, we're not talking about sitting there for 2 hours and watching a cat video. We're talking about how long is a video on YouTube? A minute, 2 minutes? You watch it and you laugh.
Then the boss came in.
Yeah, but if you're doing all your good work, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
If you're doing good work, it won't matter. Okay, I want to read a few quotes before I get to my last picture. Don't show my last picture yet. Okay. Do we have any questions on here?
There are a lot of
okay. I think being grateful is one of the keys to peace, joy, and happiness. It sure is. You have no idea how happy I am today. I thought for the last 9 years that the lousy water pressure in my sink was because of old pipes. This morning, my favorite maintenance guy fixed my faucet, and how grateful.
And all she was. To do now is dishes.
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's funny because, you know something, Mark, my husband, was called by, I have a Kia Soul, and somebody from the Kia place called him because we have a 2012, and they wanted to up us with the same payment, all that stuff, to a 2015 or 14, whatever. So he went to check it out, and he said to me, you know, you're going to need new brakes, and you're going to need all these things, so maybe instead of putting the money for the new brakes, we'll put it into a new car, blah, 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 blah. So, but I don't want to do that necessarily. But so I said, you know what? Information is powerful. Mm-hmm. Instead of sitting back like Susiani and not looking, maybe, you know, she checked into her, you know, sometimes we're scared to do it because we don't want to know what the result is. But here she was at peace, right? Because she realized it wasn't as bad as she thought. So we took our car Saturday for them to do like a, what do they call it?
A checkup. A
checkup, like a scan of everything. Nothing was wrong with the car. Mm-hmm. Nothing. All it cost was for the oil change. My husband had it costing like $1,000. Nothing. So powerful knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And I was so grateful that there was nothing wrong with the car. I got in the car. You know what? I loved the car more that day than I think I've ever loved it before.
We were going to buy a new dishwasher
Yeah.
because we had to run it twice
Yeah.
for it to
Yeah.
get clean.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
didn't
Oh, yeah.
understand.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday I decided, okay, let's see. So I went and started reading, and ended up taking out some at the bottom and look at
Yeah.
the filter,
Yeah.
and there was a
Been
piece
there.
of saran wrap right there in the sump. And what would happen is every time that the water will start circulating, it sucks it in and it blocks it.
Uh-huh.
So I took it out. And now you can hear it going.
Wow. That's very.
Which
See?
we haven't heard in some time. See, it's little things like
Yeah,
that.
so we avoid those things. Like, you kind of push those under the rug
Right.
because you don't want to deal with them. But
Right.
being grateful
You
and
wash
just,
twice instead of trying
it's
to.
fabulous. Wonderful. All right, so we're almost out of time. So I want to read a couple of quotes that I have put aside for us when we're together. And here is: good leaders follow their own advice. Now, I think that's true because sometimes I find myself laughing when I'm saying, oh my God, that's what I told a client. Oh my God, I'm doing that. How funny is that? Okay, here's one that I really like. If you worry, why pray? If you pray, why worry?
You worry.
If you
why
worry,
pray?
why pray? Because
That's-
you're not going to believe it anyway. And if you pray, what do you have to worry about? You're praying. The best is going to come to you, right? Okay, here's one. Now, I had to think about this one. Family is first, but that often means that business must come first as it supports the family. but you can make sense of everything, a lot of things like that, right?
Sure.
Like I have this thing, whom you meet going up is whom you meet coming down,
Mhm.
right? I also, I believe that you have to make money to play, and you have to play to make money. Makes perfect sense. You have to play to make money, right? And you have to make money to play. You can't work hard if you don't play hard. And you cannot work hard if you don't play hard. I mean, it goes hand in hand. You have to enjoy your life in order. That's why that thing, that
Mhm.
perfect work day I think is so relevant.
Okay.
Because you've got to enjoy your life to
You
be able
do.
to
I mean,
make
there's no
more
doubt.
out of it, money-wise and everything else under the sun. Okay, will you put that last picture up? Okay. Share your story. So I have been loving people's stories for years, and one day I'll tell you my Oprah story. One day, maybe next week. Tune in next week, and I'll tell you my Oprah story. But I have been loving stories for years, and so I am writing this book. The book is going to be called "In Just One Afternoon." That's the title, and the subtitle will be something like "Creating Peace at Home" or "How to Make Peace with Your Best Friend" or whatever. There'll be different scenarios. So if you have a story of conflict and it's something that's been resolved or hasn't been resolved, or something that you see. I have this beautiful woman that I met at the health club, and she wants to share a story of something that she sees, and some conflicting story that she sees, and she wants to write about it. So anything that you see or feel about conflict, if you will write your personal story, I would be so grateful. So I'm going to write lots of these books together with you, of course, and it's going to be like chicken soup, and they're going to be all over the place. So anyway, Marilyn at Reenchant, REENCHANT, planetearth.com, or Marilyn at Power, POWER, of Dialogue, DIALOGUE.com. If you have a question about it, you want to know more about how I'm going to go about this, let me know. I don't have all the answers yet. I'm listening as I go to what comes up. So by all means, let me know. I'd love to answer your questions for you. I'd love you to take part in this. Just let me know. I hope you enjoyed our show today. I did. Did you?
Yeah, and I want to add something.
Go
here.
ahead.
You're giving people your email address.
Yes.
The one that is really difficult to spell and remember.
I didn't give.
What's wrong with Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com?
I don't
you have
that.
an email?
No. Will you give me one?
Yeah,
Okay, I need
yeah,
that one. I don't, I've been meaning to ask him. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Oh God, it takes multiple heads to make it work. No, really, I need that. Can you give me
I
that?
know.
Can you give me that?
Yeah,
Okay.
is it still is that one still with me?
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
everything I have is with you.
No, you moved something.
No, I have nothing anywhere. Everything is with you. But anyway, it doesn't
Oh,
matter. So, okay. Anyway, send me any message you want. And I hope you enjoyed the show today. And I do thank you so much for being here. And please, 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 I send you my license to call in anytime and talk and share and have fun with us. And until next week, have a wonderful week and just share your stories. All right? Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.